There's an old saying, the axe forgets, but the tree remembers. Most people hear that and think it's about pain. It's not. It's about awareness. The person who causes the damage often doesn't even realize what they've done. But the person paying attention remembers every detail. Life works the same way. Most people go through their days noticing only what is obvious. They hear words but miss intentions. They see actions but ignore patterns. They focus on events while overlooking the causes behind them. But a few people pay attention differently. They notice the careless comment that reveals someone's character. They notice the small habit that predicts a future mistake. They notice patterns long before they become problems. This is where real intelligence begins, not with having more information than everyone else, but with seeing what everyone else overlooks. Yet, here's the bitter truth. Seeing the pattern doesn't change your life. Using the pattern does. And that's the difference between a genius and a strategist. A genius understands the game. A strategist knows how to position himself inside it. One recognizes opportunities, the other turns them into results. Machiavelli understood that intelligence alone is never enough. The world doesn't reward people simply for seeing clearly. It rewards those who know what to do with what they see. Now, before we get into the tips, I want you to understand something Machiavelli wrote that most people completely misread. People think Machiavelli was teaching ruthlessness. They think he was a cold, manipulative man who believed power was everything. That's wrong. What Machiavelli was actually teaching was this: the world operates on reality, not ideals. Most people lose, not because they're weak, not because they're stupid, but because they refuse to see the world as it actually is. They see people as they wish they were. They make decisions based on how things should work. And then reality hits them like a wall they never saw coming. Machiavelli said, "Open your eyes first, then move. See the board clearly. Understand the players. Know your position, and only then act." That's not ruthlessness. That's intelligence applied with discipline. And in this video, you'll learn how to develop both. How to think like a genius and act like a strategist. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I see, I think, I win. Number 1. Train yourself to notice what others ignore. Most people walk into a room and see furniture. A sharp person walks into the same room and reads the entire story inside it. The book left face down on the table. The coffee cup with 3 rings stained into the wood. The chair pushed slightly away from the desk. The phone placed screen down instead of screen up. None of these things scream for attention, but every single one of them is telling you something. This is the first skill Machiavelli would have called essential. Not book knowledge, not strategy, not even experience. Pure, disciplined observation. The ability to notice what others walk past without a second thought. Here's the honest reality. Most people are not paying attention. They're too busy managing their own thoughts, their own worries, their own running commentary inside their head. They move through conversations, through meetings, through relationships, on autopilot, half present, half somewhere else entirely. And because of that, they miss everything. They miss the moment a person's voice tightens when a certain topic comes up. They miss the split-second expression that crosses someone's face before their smile covers it. They miss the pause before the answer that tells you more than the answer itself ever could. You want to think like a genius. Start paying attention like one. Here's how you actually build this skill. First, slow down your judgment. Most people decide what they think about a situation before they've fully observed it. They label it, file it, and move on. Stop doing that. Stay in the observation phase longer than feels comfortable. Look again. Look closer. Second, watch what people do when they think nobody's watching. That's when the real character comes out. Not during the performance, not during the presentation. In the quiet, unguarded, in-between moments. Third, notice the things that don't match. When someone's words and body language are telling two completely different stories, believe the body. Words can be rehearsed. Bodies leak the truth. Fourth, get curious about small things. Small details are not random. They are the edges of much larger patterns. Pull on a small thread long enough, and you will eventually find exactly what's holding everything together. The people who change the world are not always the loudest or the most educated. They are often simply the most observant. They caught what others dropped. They remembered what others forgot. Start noticing. Start now. Everything around you is already speaking. The question is whether you're actually listening. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I notice everything. Number 2. Look for patterns, not isolated events. A river doesn't flood because of one rainy day. It floods because of weeks of rain nobody bothered to track. By the time the water rises, the damage was already written slowly, in a pattern most people ignored until it was too late to stop. That's how almost every collapse in life works. Nobody falls because of one bad moment. They fall because of 20 small moments that all pointed the same direction, and they kept calling each one just this once. A pattern is simply the same behavior, repeated long enough to stop being an accident. One missed deadline is an accident. 5 missed deadlines is a character trait. One careless mistake is human. The same mistake made 5 times is a decision, even if nobody admits it out loud. Most people judge the world one event at a time. They see a moment, they react to that moment, and they move on without connecting it to the moment before it or the moment after it. This is exactly why they keep getting surprised by outcomes that, looking back, were never really surprising at all. A sharper mind does something different. It treats every event as a single brick, refusing to judge the building until enough bricks have been laid to see the actual shape forming. Start training yourself to zoom out instead of zooming in. When something happens, don't just ask, "What does this mean right now?" Ask, "Where have I seen this exact shape before?" Memory is your greatest tool here, not memory for facts, but memory for behavior. The mind that remembers patterns sees the future long before it arrives, because the future is rarely original. It is almost always a repeat of something that already happened quietly, more than once. Give weight to frequency, not to drama. A loud, dramatic moment that happens once carries less truth than a quiet, boring moment that happens 10 times. Drama grabs attention. Repetition reveals reality. And resist the urge to judge too early. A pattern needs